Right, so Inverse once again. They love us.
They're back.
They're back. They love us on that program, on that news website. Huge Star Wars Episode 9 leak reveals unexpected Sith Troopers Palpatine link. Could explain one of the biggest mysteries in Star Wars history. Ever since we learned about the Sith Troopers back in July, do you remember learning about that? Was this the reveal of the Sith Trooper at Comic-Con?
That's right, yeah.
That red, basically, First Order Trooper, but with some extra grooves.
Was it the Black Series figurine?
Yeah.
Like one of these?
It basically looks like a cross between... It's basically like a First Order Trooper painted red crossed with like one of the Scarif Troopers.
Yeah, it does look like this. I think they were called Shore Troopers.
Yeah.
Scarif Troopers, yeah.
Basically, so... I mean, all the pictures came out from San Diego Comic-Con, and I was like...
Well, the slit down the middle is a little bit Mandalorian as well.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. But it was also just like... It just seemed a bit like, we'll just paint it red.
It's more First Order than anything else. It springs to mind. Everybody just thought it was a First Order Trooper painted red.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were particular about calling it a Sith Trooper.
Yeah.
They didn't just say, it's a special kind of trooper.
So there you go. So ever since we heard about those in July, we've been trying to figure out how they fit into Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Are they Kylo Ren's new personal armoury? The Emperor's secret weapon? Now a huge leak may blow the entire thing wide open, revealing not only what the Sith Troopers are up to, but also much of the plot of Episode 9. And it might just solve a long-running Star Wars mystery too. Warning! Death Star-sized spoilers for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. There's a thing in Star Wars called unknown regions, which is, as far as I'm concerned, is never mentioned in the films, is it ever? This is a sort of canonical thing that... canonical thing that they're mentioning in the books surrounding it, or is it appeared in Rebels? Or?
The Unknown Regions goes back to when I got into Star Wars. It was in some of the books and the fact files and things like that.
Yeah,
right.
It's not mentioned in the movies. No, I don't even think it's in the prequels.
No,
I think the Unknown Regions
but it's
are mentioned.
always been in the sort of outer.
They talk about the Outer Rim, like.
Yeah, they talk about the Outer Rim.
Yeah,
but it's always been in the sort of.
The comics and the books.
Expanded universe.
Expanded universe.
Yeah.
That's what I'm desperately reaching for.
The EU.
The EU, yeah.
European Union.
Let's not talk about that.
Not that
So,
Whoa! Touchy subject.
whoa there, let's not get political. So basically, it's the murky edges of the galaxy that we know nothing about. But in The Rise of Skywalker, we could finally learn what's been hiding out there. And it's bad news for the good guys. A report from Making Star Wars, which is pretty reliable when it comes to Star Wars scoops, reveals that the Sith Troopers have been hiding on a Star Destroyer out in the unknown regions ever since the Emperor died at the end of Return of the Jedi. MSW describes the region as hellish and not entirely stable. Oh, I'm glad you're here to tell us these things. Which explains how the Sith fleet managed to float out there for 30 years totally undetected. So, the first big takeaway here is that the Sith Troopers won't be created by Kylo or the First Order for Episode 9. They've been around for way longer, and their allegiance bends towards the Emperor. That's where the Roman MacGuffin comes in. It's called the Wayfinder device. The Wayfinder device. Does this not sound a little bit like a credit agency or something like that?
Wayfinder.
Check your credit score with the new Wayfinder device.
A compass, basically, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's a tool Kylo seeks out to take control of the Sith Troopers. That's also apparently where the Oracle comes in. The Oracle. However, Kylo's plan backfires when a resurrected Palpatine decides not to share his army. I will not share it. This is already a lot to process, I know, but the real kicker is that the Sith Troopers Star Destroyer is equipped with planet-destroying weapons. Surprise, surprise.
Dun, dun, dun. We've never seen that before.
Yeah, well, I do hope we get that. Similar to the Death Star. Oh, and also they have a red TIE fighter that can eject out. That they can eject out of with jetpacks.
We've already seen these TIE fighters. They're on they're on the top left of the Rise of Skywalker dictionary. There's a Knight of Ren and there's a TIE dagger up at the top corner.
All right,
of it.
okay.
And it's got red. It's got red all around the outside.
So this is why they've made this cheeky Sith Trooper. Rocketeer thing. Yeah.
Thing.
So in case you need a too long didn't read recap, here's what we've learned. The Sith Troopers have been out in the unknown regions for 30 years. The Sith Troopers have Death Star technology. Kylo Ren will spend at least some of the movie trying to retrieve them. That plan will backfire and the Emperor will take control of his fleet. What we know is how the Sith Troopers survived all that time, but hopefully, that's what we don't know, but hopefully the Rise of Skywalker will take the time to explain it. Blah, 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 blah. So... the Emperor's evil plan in Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is still coming into view, and the latest toy leaks may reveal even more horrifying details. Could this be our first look at the epic space battle coming in Episode 9? Who knows?
Oh, well, there you go.
So...
I mean, they've been out there for 30 years, so they're all aged troopers by now.
Well, you'd think so.
When I first saw them, I got a very good example right here. The Emperor's Royal Guard.
Yeah.
The dark side only tends to have special bright colours, red in this case, with the what Snoke's guys called? I've forgotten the names again.
Oh, Praetorian Guards.
Praetorian Guards.
Praetorian Guards, completely in red.
Completely
the
useless.
Imperial
Really good at spinning.
Yeah, very good at spinning. Anyway, go on.
the Imperial Royal Guards, completely in red.
Completely useless also.
Well, we don't know that.
Yeah, we don't know.
Actually, never seen them
We
fight.
don't know that.
They just literally go...
They,
Well, Yoda managed to fling them back a wee bit, didn't he? And
yeah, well, he's a Jedi Master,
With
and
the
he's one of
Force.
the best, isn't he?
Well, true,
They're not going
yeah.
to be able to do much against him.
Yeah.
Also, there's a deleted scene in Return of the Jedi where Vader goes to see the Emperor, and Moff Gerard won't let him through, and the Royal Guards stick spears up at him, and he's like, don't even bother. You're not going to be able to take on Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So we don't know how powerful they are. I mean, just from a design point of view and how quiet they are and stately, they're not very stately in your face, they're quite quiet. You just assume that they're very powerful.
have you seen what's underneath the robe?
No.
On the figurine. Have a look. Take it off there and have a look. He's quite a
Oh,
That's all right.
I've destroyed him.
Sith destroyer.
I don't want to look up his skirt.
He's got a large red penis.
He's all naked.
How do you take it off?
You don't take it off, just lift it on. He's
Yeah,
all
just
like...
lift it up, yeah.
He's got a wee gun.
Oh. I don't know if the camera can pick all this up. It's pretty hench.
Yeah, he's got armour.
Armour. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
You can see there's artwork of it as well.
It wasn't quite as detailed that on the Kenner figure.
No.
It was just like a second skirt underneath.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's is it Crimson Empire or something? There's a dark graphic novel or something, and they're in that, and they're actually pretty badass from the artwork that I've seen.
So when you first saw them coming back,
I just thought they've got to be something to do with Snoke or the Emperor, someone really high up. And then I thought, maybe Kylo's doing the tradition of having, I want elite guards around me, so I'm going to paint them all red. But the thing that kind of undoes this rumour is what you were just talking about. They look like First Order.
Yeah.
If they were 30 years ago, that's a First Order design.
yeah,
So the only way
so it makes no sense.
So the only way this would work is if the First Order copied that design from after Return of the Jedi. But the whole thing about a Star Destroyer being out in the unknown regions, the Emperor was obsessed with the unknown regions. In the Aftermath series, he talks about, even asks Darth Vader, can you feel anything? He says no. The Emperor calls it, what he's feeling is the source of the dark side.
Okay.
We've talked about this before with the observatory on Jakku. Jakku's like almost near I think it's the furthest out planet we've visited in the Star Wars films. It's the closest to the unknown regions.
Right.
Right.
Jakku itself, which is where the final battle between the Empire and the Rebel Alliance were.
That's right. Yeah.
And underneath, there's observatories trying to find that information. And after that battle, I think he's called Rafe Sloan or somebody, who starts up the First Order. They go on to the Emperor's Super Star Destroyer, go into the unknown regions, and then they form the First Order. But that Super Star Destroyer is called the Eclipse, and it's the Emperor's Super Star Destroyer. It's meant to be the sister of the Executor, which was Darth Vader's.
Yeah.
Which blew up in Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
But when you play Battlefront 2, the one that crashes into Jakku, it looks exactly the same as Darth Vader's.
Okay.
So I'm guessing they rebuilt it and called it a different name. But the whole thing about a Star Destroyer being out there in unknown regions isn't new to us. So this rumour is stacking up in so many ways. But that First Order design of the helmet is working against it.
Yeah. Unless, like you say, the First Order copied
Yeah.
a design from years before,
Yeah.
and it's evolved a little bit differently since then.
But I really want this to be true because Darkseid versus Darkseid is totally new to Star
On
Wars.
screen?
On screen, yeah.
Yeah.
We've had it before, but this would be a saga film, and it would be like the epic of epic battles, wouldn't it? The Resistance and the Empire and the First Order.
And the Rebels are back as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is JJ gonna carry on what Rian Johnson started and
Call them the Rebels?
Are they the Rebel Alliance again? I'd say so because Luke Skywalker says the rebellion is reborn today.
Yeah.
So was that their way of saying it is going to eventually be the Empire versus the Rebels again in Rise of Skywalker?
Hopefully.
I mean, I think what would be cool is if the film does kind of hint that Kylo and the Emperor are going to get along, and then the Emperor does his classic thing, what all the Sith do, and they betray their apprentices or the people they're working with. It's just what they do.
Yeah. Interesting.
I hope it's true, but it seems to be annoying people, this thing. But I was like, no, this sounds new. I want something new. Because
when I read it, I thought, this is quite a new angle, you know?
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day, I mean, people take the mick out of The Force Awakens for Starkiller Base. It's just another Death Star. But my argument to that is, that's how stupid the dark side is. They want powerful weapons.
Yeah.
So, from a story point of view, what would you do with the bad guys? They want a powerful weapon to destroy. I don't know if you know this, but George Lucas envisaged in his trilogy a Death Star that's underwater.
Yeah, I think we spoke about that. Yeah.
How would you attack a Death Star that's surrounded by water?
Yeah.
It'd be very difficult to get towards inside it or anywhere near it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the kind of alluding to that already in the Rise of Skywalker trailer with that shot of the Death Star at the end.
There's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish.
But that is a Death Star too, isn't it?
I was just about to say, is that Endor?
The forest moon of Endor.
With that huge sea.
Yeah.
I mean, to tie it to Palpatine, it's got to be Endor and it's got to be the Death Star 2. But there's nothing in that shot that says which Death Star it is to me. I don't know them well enough.
No. All your Death Stars look alike.
Starkiller Base had a very different look.
It depends what they're going to whatever the Death Star is. Why are they going there?
Yeah.
This MacGuffin thing, what's been rumoured, could be on the first Death Star.
Yeah. They might have to go to both of them.
Yeah.
Well, Leia has the medallions from Yavin.
Yeah.
In the trailer, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, I was watching the Red Letter Media Rise of Skywalker prediction, and we need to talk about the Millennium Falcon. I didn't realise in The Last Jedi that when they go through the red caves, Chewbacca's
gets his...
the rectangle shield from Return of the Jedi has been smashed off.
Yeah.
And in when Lando's piling it in the Rise of Skywalker teaser, the round dish is back.
Right.
So we've gone back to what it used to be. Or that's the Falcon from
Back
The
in
original.
time.
Back in time, yeah.
Time travel. Well,
So this is
Yeah.
exploding on the internet, the time travel thing. So
Yeah, the time travel thing's everywhere, isn't it?
it's Red Letter Media that
Is-
started it.
Did they?
yeah, it
But
is.
Is
Yeah.
is it all because of?
It's because of them.
Yeah, but is it all because of like people are talking about like Star Wars trying to compete with Marvel as well and all that stuff? So
That's what
and
Mike
they put
says.
time travel in
Yeah,
Mike
and
and
it's
Rich talk about that.
it's
in the
that.
video.
And they
Endgame
said-
and all that.
they can't move the story forward. The only way to go is back,
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's a way they can do that, as we saw in Rebels.
Yeah.
The World Between Worlds. Maybe that was a setup for this film. I don't know. What do
Yeah.
you think?
So I should say that I'll put a link in the description below to the clip from Rebels that we're talking about, the World Between Worlds episodes. It is a device to get time travel in Star Wars,
Yeah.
but it's not like Marvel where they could pick anywhere they wanted to go.
No, there's only specific
That's dangerous.
points they can
That's
go to.
I mean, Rich Evans, Red Letter Media. As soon as Mike says time travel story, he just bursts out laughing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he does. Also, I'll put a link in the description below for Red Letter Media's video. You should check that out. It's
It
a
is
lot
very
of fun.
funny. Yeah. But yeah, like you were saying earlier about the World Between Worlds, in Rebels, they can only go to specific points.
Yeah.
And what did you say about
So
it?
my theory is that when something happens significantly with the Force, dark side or light, it creates a ripple
Yeah.
in time or whatever you want to call it. And the World Between Worlds, Ezra's hearing certain points of all the movies that has something to do with the Force or some significant part of the Skywalker saga. So you hear Kylo Ren talking to Vader's helmet, you hear Rey talking to Maz Kanata, you hear Obi-Wan talking to Luke, you hear Darth Vader talking to Luke Skywalker. I mean, it just covers
Yoda.
all the movies. Yeah, so it looks like you only get one shot at doing something with that shot of time, and it looks like it may be personal to certain people, and it's not just, you can't just drop a character in there and they go, yeah, I'm gonna go the bit where Vader tells Luke is his father,
Yeah.
and go and change that. I think it has to be presented to you now.
So it's like that mirror in Harry Potter,
Yeah, it's individual to different people. Yeah, it reflects them.
which I can't
no
remember the
pun
name of.
intended.
But anyway, go
The
on.
Mirror of Erised.
That's it.
Or Erisad.
Yeah.
Erised, I
Harry's
think.
sad.
Yeah.
The mirror of very sad.
Can you drop that now, please?
Yeah.
It's become a bit of an albatross.
Oh!
So yeah, go on.
What was it talking about?
We were talking
World
about
Between
how
Worlds.
you think that the world between where the
Yeah.
personal, it's like the mirror from Harry
The
Potter,
wo-
where it's
The World Between Worlds, the reason I've said it's not traditional time travel is that it's kind of chosen. And
But
if-
why would it be personal to Ezra? Because he's got no connection to Luke Skywalker and stuff, has he? Or has he?
Don't assume, Patrick. We don't know.
We don't know.
Apart from
No.
the Force, obviously.
Well,
But
the Rebels suggest that Kanan got... The World Between Worlds is not explained at all. It's just
No.
there and it happens.
Right. So they could do anything with it.
Yeah.
and they get into that World Between Worlds via that portal, which is shown to them by a painting of the Mortis gods,
Yeah.
which I do need to rewatch.
Yeah.
I think it's been a while since I've
It's
seen
a,
anything.
I
So
think it's a 3-parter or a 4-parter.
it's a three. Yeah, they call it a trilogy, don't they?
Yeah.
The Mortis trilogy,
It's
which
what,
is you can watch it as a standalone, basically. I suppose. Can't you?
Right, okay.
yeah. It's what got me into Clone Wars. I was like, Clone Wars is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's the bit that really got me. If anyone's not watched Clone Wars, like Matt said, you can watch that as a standalone. Season 3, I think it's like episode 16 onwards,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the
And
actual
it's-
finale of season 3. I think there's more stories after that.
Afterwards,
but
yeah.
I feel like that should have been the ending of season 3.
And it's a strange one, that trilogy, because it's really out there as far as the Force is concerned.
It
isn't
changes the Force, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
And it is canon.
yeah. Well,
It's-
it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Because Disney said that the story group said that the Clone Wars, Rebels, all the new movies, like episodes 1 to 6 and all the Disney films are canon. And any of the new books that come out. So Clone Wars is in there.
Yeah.
Rebels is in there.
Yeah. So will we see anything to do with Mortis in 9, do you think? Maybe?
Well, they call the main guy, the main Mortis god, he calls him, he said some call us Force Wielders. So the Force Wielders could be like the original Jedi, like pre-Jedi.
Yeah.
Like the first Force Wielders. So a mention of them in the Rise of Skywalker could be a thing. That, you know, it could predate the Sith. I mean, the Jedi predate the Sith, I think.
Yeah.
I think the Jedi were before the
the Sith came from the Jedi, didn't
That's
they?
right, yeah.
Yeah.
So these Force Wielders could
branched off, if you like. You know?
Yeah. So the Force Wielders could be older than all of them put together.
Yeah, yeah.
Who knows? It's not the episode is not resolved or mentioned, or the characters themselves, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, and Anakin Skywalker, they don't remember what happened in there.
No.
Which is
It's like they get shot out of this
yeah.
dimension. Is it a dimension they're in? An alternate universe?
When they go, I've read somewhere that when they go back into the known universe where they were, they have no recollection, and according to the computer log on the computer, they've only been gone like a minute or something.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Very strange.
it looks like a
So it's time travel.
sort.
Kind of, I suppose, yeah, because a lot of time passes in between, you know, that in that minute, you know.
Yeah. Strange.
So time travel's effectively already been introduced, really.
Absolutely, and there is links between the story group have said there's, you know, they put Chopper, who's the droid from Rebels, he's in Rogue One when they're about when Mon Mothma when that guy's talking to Mon Mothma saying that the fleet's already gone and they're going to Scarif, etc.
Yeah.
I think Chopper's in that scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you say Captain Syndulla's on the intercom
Yeah, you
on
can
the
hear
Rebel
her name
base
being announced.
on Yavin?
The ship's in there, isn't it?
The Ghost is in there from Rebels as well. Their ship is actually in the Rebel fleet at Scarif.
Really?
The Force pull that Leia does in The Last Jedi, that is in
Kanan.
Rebels. Kanan does that in, I can't remember what episode it is.
No.
It's like season 3 or 4.
Yeah.
But he Force pulls himself. There's other links in there from, I don't know if you guys know this, but the really big ship in The Last Jedi of Leia's is named after the Mon Calamari in Rogue One.
Yeah.
You know, the main guy, Radus, is called.
Radus.
Yeah.
And the ship is called, Leia's ship in The Last Jedi is the Radus as well.
Named after him. Yeah.
I think they or Leia named it after him as well.
Oh,
So there's another big link. The other link from, I don't know if you know this, from The Last Jedi to Rogue One is, do you know when Jin and Cassian are looking for the plans for the Death Star?
Oh, they see tracking.
So they go Darksaber and all these projects that the Empire are doing, and then there's one that's hyperspace tracking,
Yeah.
which happens in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Because Snoke, what's it called? General Hux tells Snoke, got them tied on the end of a string. So it was linking to Rogue One. So the story team are really interested in bridging these gaps between all the movies and the TV shows and things. So the world between worlds has been a big talking point in season 4. It's like one of the main story points, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's one of the things that never got explained there.
And we've been hearing this rumour that both Kylo and Rey have this battle throughout the different sort of
Eons.
time. Yeah. So is this happening in the world between worlds?
I hope so. I
Where
hope
they
that's how it's being done.
Yeah.
'Cause that would make sense.
Yeah.
If you look at, you should see it on the screen now, the front cover of the art of the Rise of Skywalker. It's got Rey with her lightsaber clashing with Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's upside down like a mirror image.
Yeah.
But he looks like he's on Mustafar. She looks like she's somewhere else. So I think that's what they're going for with the Rise of Skywalker.
Or Stranger Things homage in there.
Yeah. I mean,
Upside down.
JJ he's been on record as saying, "F it," I'm just going to do what I want here.
Yeah.
And he's probably just going to push the envelope. I'm hoping.
Well,
anyway, as far as lore in Star Wars is concerned,
yeah.
right, it's the last one of a saga.
He's
Might as well,
He's got to sum up. He's got a really difficult job. He's got to sum up 3 trilogies.
Yeah.
One way you do that is have your chief villain, who's been in it since, who was. I didn't know this when I was a kid. When I watched The Phantom Menace, I thought Darth Maul was the Phantom Menace, but George Lucas says it's Darth Sidious. He's the master manipulator behind the scenes, etc.
Yeah, he's been through it all
and
along.
if you look at episodes 1 to 6, it's all Palpatine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we get to the episode 7, and if this is meant to be that saga, then Darth Vader's gone, the Sith have gone, it's Kylo Ren and Snoke, and we watch The Last Jedi, and Snoke's got nothing to do with the Sith. But bringing back the Emperor does tie all the films together on its own, just bringing him back alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Red Letter Media said if the movie is going to be awful, at least the scenes with the Emperor will be awesome, because he loves being evil.
Yeah.
Just a great character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost.
But at least
Dr.
you'll get your
Evil.
palps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will return.
Yeah.
I guess can't resist.
And we were talking about this before as well, while we're still on the subject of the world between worlds. When you see the Emperor fall in Return of the Jedi
Oh, yeah.
into the shaft of the Death Star,
Yep.
you see all that blue plasma rise,
Yeah.
and you see that same blue plasma in the world between worlds when he's trying to reach out to capture Ezra and
It's
Ahsoka.
strange when he puts his hand out in Rebels, you're like, oh, Force Lightning. But it's not.
No.
It's that blue plasma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the Force in that world between worlds can't be used the way it's used in the physical realm where where the Emperor actually is. And it looks like the Emperor can't actually get in there. Like, his hand makes it through, but he can't get in there for some reason.
Yeah.
And also, each world between worlds thing is a different shape. So when you see Vader and Ahsoka fight in the first thing that Ezra sees, and he saves Ahsoka, it's a triangle.
The portal is a triangle, yeah.
With a circle inside. And then the one with where he sees Kanan dying and he saves him is a circle, but then it morphs into the Emperor. But the Emperor, I don't think that's a vision. I think he's actually there watching. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's meant to be a scene from time. I think that's the Emperor in the present.
Yeah, real time.
Yeah. But if he can harness the power that's there, then he could, when Vader throws him off the edge, he could go into that world, and then maybe he crashes into it or whatever, and it ends up taking him to the time of the Rise of Skywalker. So he hasn't been like waiting for 30 years. For him, because it's time travel, it's been a few seconds.
Yeah.
So it's like he's gone to the future, but he doesn't realise.
But he's already planned it in advance in case it happens, because the Empire is still there waiting in the wings.
We already know he had a plan post Return of the Jedi because of Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
There's
What do they call them droids with his
Sentinel droid?
Sentinels? Yeah.
And there's basically it's a huge droid. It looks a bit like the Emperor's Royal Guard, but there's a visor that's completely empty and a hologram of the Emperor appears. And he's got all these orders. It's actually Palpatine himself.
Yeah.
And he's recorded all these messages to carry out, to carry on should he die.
Order 67. Almost,
Is it,
isn't it? You know.
Yeah. Execute Order 67. So that's in Battlefront 2. Obviously, I'll put a picture of that up on the screen now so you know what I'm talking about. But that's in the campaign for Battlefront 2, and also in the Road to the Force Awakens, the Aftermath books I keep talking about. He's got all these observatories, there's things post his death that he had set up, and he actually talks to someone, don't quote me on this, he talks to someone about should he die, what should happen, and the Empire should carry on, and there is a plan. Now I thought that plan was the First Order.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't. Maybe the plan was to have this secret empire, and then I don't know. and then the First Order have risen out of that because they're Empire fanboys.
Yeah.
But the Emperor's like, no, you're not the true Empire. I am, and that's why I hope that theory's true, because that will be awesome.
Old school.
You know, to be honest with you, this is the first time I'm feeling a tinge of excitement for Episode 9, because I mean, this same stage before the Last Jedi, I was really excited, and I was a bit let down with that movie.
Sure.
So it's been hard to build up the excitement for Episode 9.
Yeah.
But thinking about these possible plots, and I hope we're not disappointed. But it's kind of exciting to talk about.
I think everyone's gonna be disappointed in something.
Oh, of course.
I won't say the mainstream audiences, because I've got friends who will go and watch Star Wars and I enjoy it, but after that 2 hours there's no more thinking about it. I enjoyed those 2 hours and leave the theatre, and if another one comes out they'll go back and see it. But we're different, we're fans. We're going to, I think we've got to be ready to be disappointed.
Totally.
As much as we're really excited for Rise of Skywalker, talking about this, we've equally got to think about
it probably won't happen.
you're setting yourself up to be disappointed as well.
And
we can't help it as fans. And Rian Johnson actually said that. He said, I've been one of these fans for many years. I've speculated, I've had my own ideas about what it should be, and they haven't quite turned out that way. And it's just what we do as Star Wars fans. And he said every Star Wars fan has a list of what they want, and I think all three of our lists will be different.
Oh yeah. It happened with Game of Thrones, didn't it? And a lot of people were hoping certain things would happen, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And you got a backlash.
It was a massive backlash, wasn't it? Yeah. Like I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but I've just seen the things on Twitter and Facebook. And
I mean, has there ever been a franchise that hasn't disappointed? I mean, I suppose like stuff like Harry Potter's, we've had the books to begin with, so people knew what was coming up.
Yeah, I think the consensus with Harry Potter is that most people I've spoken to, The Prisoner of Azkaban tends to be the one that people say is the best Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
And I would agree.
So.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I think everyone.
I think it's one of the highest scored on.
Yeah.
The database.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think it is. I think everyone's on their A game acting wise.
Mm-hmm.
The direction's really good.
It's dark.
Yeah.
It's the strong. Like John Williams scored the first three, and I think The Philosopher's Stone is a work of art musically.
Yeah.
But Prisoner of Azkaban is the most emotional. It's just on the story as well. It's very good.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those where you could probably watch it and enjoy it as a movie without the other ones anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
But I mean, they went darker and darker as they went on. But I just think Azkaban was. It's like the Empire Strikes Back of Harry Potter.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good analogy.
I love it. Yeah.
Even though I know it wasn't the second one, but it feels like Azkaban in terms of the first three. Like I'll call it the Harry Potter trilogy, the first three, because I think number 4 onwards has a different feel to it.
Yeah.
That's like the turning point is the middle of those two films, and I think them first three, Azkaban storms it, but Azkaban storms all 8 for me.
Yeah.
It's my favourite book. That's difficult.
I've not read any of them, to be honest with you.
I'd say they're the best novels I've read.
Yeah, well, I've got.
I love them. I think they're fantastic.
Recently bought the first one audiobook for when we go on holiday.
Ah, right, okay. That's a good idea.
Stephen Fry one.
It's Stephen Fry.
They are amazing.
Keep meaning to get those.
You'll love it.
I've read the first novel, but I haven't read the rest of them.
Right. It should.
Which I should do, really.
You will buy the rest.
Yeah.
I promise you.
Right. Okay.
The extra things that you get in those books, the movies are really good. I think they're good adaptations, but there'll be Harry Potter fans screaming at the screen now
because there's loads of stuff missing.
Yeah, the books are untouchable.
Right.
I don't. I think Daniel Radcliffe says something to J.K. Rowling in an interview that we couldn't put everything in the movies. And he said, but there is an audience there for it that would watch a 15-hour Harry Potter film.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'd be there.
Same with Lord of the Rings and all that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Them sort of
well, I think he's been on record saying he thinks they'll reboot it at some point and do it as a series. Though. Okay. Some of them have talked about it. They've said like
Reading Harry Potter.
Yeah, they'd be like, it'll be a series at some point where you get everything.
Well, give it time. I mean,
Okay.
it's happening with Lord of the Rings, isn't it? So,
Well,
why
the
not?
thing is, the Lord of the Rings, that's not... It's meant to be a story that exists around the main story.
Yeah, it's a prequel, isn't it?
It's not a remake.
Yeah, it's something else, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
I think it's
to do with Aragorn, isn't it? It's a young Aragorn.
I don't know. I don't know what they've said.
I think.
All I know is that it's going to run concurrently. It may start as a prequel, but it's going to run concurrently with the Lord of the Rings.
Right.
When they announced it as Lord of the Rings, I went, they're just saying that because people would rather hear that than say the Adventures in Middle Earth or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
history of Middle Earth.
I see
Sorry.
what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what I immediately thought it was. It won't be the Lord of the Rings. They've done that. And then when I heard it was going to be alongside Lord of the Rings, I'm like, that's dangerous.
So it's
Because I'm like,
in the same time frame.
I'm like, are you just going away from Peter Jackson's movies, or are you going to pay homage to those, or are we going off the books? I don't know.
I think
I'm excited.
Yeah, I
must
think
say.
they're involving some of the original crew, or at least the artist.
John Howe.
Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Howe was
So a
one
lot of the design
the concept
will
as well.
be same.
Wheater and all.
Yeah. Which is good. Because I'm a massive fan of Lord of the Rings, love it.
I
But it's not Star Wars.
But it's not Star Wars, so moving on.
yeah. Why we talking about Potter?
We were talking about franchises.
Potter's come up
and
twice.
whether-
Franchises.
so
Yeah.
I can like Star Wars and Game of Thrones, where fans have been disappointed
Oh, yeah.
because they've got their own theories.
Well, the Lord of the Rings is a good analogy because the Hobbit wasn't very well received.
No.
I enjoyed those movies, but
I auditioned for The Hobbit.
yeah, you said.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
that was
Did you, precious?
Yeah.
Did you really?
because I lived in Christchurch in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And,
And they didn't put you in, why not?
no, well,
I think you would have made a good Hobbit.
yeah, well, I think so too. But anyway, never mind.
Did you audition for my part?
I was just under the maximum height that they want, or just on it.
Right.
You know, and I'm not a very tall person, really. But it was good fun. It was good fun. The day, you know, we were in the queue.
Mm-hmm.
It was in a school, this audition.
Sure.
And I say audition, you didn't have to do much. It was just a case of, are you allergic to prosthetics and all that stuff.
Right, yeah. Don't know.
Had to get my
Stick
feet.
some on.
Yeah. Had to get my feet measured, photograph taken, a couple of questions, and that were it, really.
Yeah.
And didn't hear anything.
Bastards.
But I did get to be an extra alongside King Theoden. What's his name?
Bernard Hill.
Bernard Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a television series in Christchurch about the earthquake, and he was the big star in that. So shared a few scenes with that guy. Really nice.
He's
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from Bury.
He's quite local, yeah.
From Bury, yeah.
Yeah.
I think he still lives
So
there.
he was playing like an English expat over there, you know, married to a Maori lady, and it was about their sort of trials and tribulations through the earthquake.
Awesome.
He carries the Two Towers.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. Great actor.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm geeking out.
Yeah,
about
we've
Lord of the-
we've totally gone off track.
What's Star Wars again? Can you just do a recap for me? So yeah, The Hobbit was disappointing to most people.
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
So again,
Easily pleased.
this is a good analogy. I went into The Hobbit. I thought this is a small story. It's a small book. It's not going to be. It's not going to recapture Lord of the Rings.
No.
That's been done.
Lightning in a bottle.
And the thing is, I'm going to sound a little bit pessimistic here. And I'm kind of echoing what Rich Evans has said from Red Letter Media about Star Wars. I think you two, we've already talked about this off camera, that Star Wars has been done.
Yes.
The original trilogy.
Yeah.
We were only ever going to be disappointed because it's been done.
Yeah.
So what gets me is The Force Awakens. It was well received at first, and then when people started to realise, thinking they were really clever, it's a rip-off of A New Hope.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but it was just to... I like what Mike says on Red Letter Media as well. It's a soft reboot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice way of saying it is a very similar story.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, beat for beat, it is the same story.
Yeah.
But then The Last Jedi, they moved it a bit too far away from it, and people, but then there was a huge backlash.
Well, there were similarities, you know, Salty Hoth and...
yeah, salt instead of snow.
Yeah.
That was weird. Yeah, that was a strange scene. That guy just goes, salt.
Salt.
Okay. Why is the director of Rogue One in here?
Yeah.
Why
Do
has he
I
got
know
it?
you?
Yeah. So yeah, if they stray too
If he
far,
hadn't have gone salt, would we have given a shit?
No. Would have all thought it was snow because we think.
Yeah. That's for the Yanks, that
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
this is the thing.
No, when I say that, I don't mean, there's that subset of, like, when these films get tested,
Yeah.
they test them to a cross section of a certain audience, and there's a lot of thick people there, and then they go, I didn't understand that bit. What's that mean?
I look back on what?
They go, all right, okay, well, we'll get a guy to go, salt.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Exposition.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing with Blade Runner. They test screen Blade
I wish
Runner.
they'd have done that in the original Empire Strikes Back because I thought that was just a shitload of salt. I wish they had a guy there saying, snow.
I wish you had a tauntaun going like that.
Was your tauntaun will freeze before it reaches the first marker? Was that not enough? No, I want someone eating snow.
It's just a very cold, salty planet. Huh?
Luke looks freezing, but no one's tasted the ground, so I don't know if that's snow.
Nobody knows whether it's salt.
The Empire refers to it as
Cocaine.
the ice planet of Hoth.
Snow.
It's still not enough. I still need to know.
I mean, ice could be a
Can someone
nickname
just
for-
lick the floor?
But do you know what I mean by that? It's like
Exposition dialogue.
Yeah, when they test screened Blade Runner, people like, I didn't understand it, and that's why they put the voiceover in. It's kind of quite heavy-handed in a lot of places. It's just like
explaining the story.
Yeah. So it is that thing.
Yeah.
Well, talking about not needing exposition dialogue, the Mark Hamill Oxford talk?
Yes.
He says he wanted to go in on the day they filmed Darth Vader's first appearance on the Rebel blockade runner, where he storms through the door and just puts his hands on his hip and just looks side to side at the dead rebels and dead stormtroopers.
Yeah.
That scene, he said to George, "Are you going to cut to two rebels saying, 'Who's that?' Oh, it's the Dark Lord of the Sith," giving them some exposition. And George was like, "No, we'll just play some scary music. They'll know it's the bad guy."
Yeah.
And back then, Mark was like, "That's really profound that he knew that was going to work up front."
Yeah.
And that he was going to rely on this silent movie style where a theme tune would play when someone came in.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing with A New Hope. When they're talking about the Phantom Menace and they're in that kitchen area, there's Ben Burtt, Rick McCallum, and George Lucas. And Rick McCallum says, "Do you remember when you first watched Star Wars? You don't know what the hell's going on, but you're enjoying it."
Yeah.
And he said, "That's the good thing. Star Wars doesn't get explained. There's not much exposition being thrown into it, and then salt."
Yeah.
And then
Maybe they were just predicting the backlash.
Yes. So this is the thing. There's a parallel universe
they
out
put
there
a
where,
load of politics in.
there's a parallel universe out there where that didn't happen, and there's we're in a different podcast complaining. Saying,
Yeah.
When was it snow?
Well, you never said whether it was snow or not.
Nobody told me.
Nobody told me. I don't understand.
What's all that red shit on it?
So back on track.
Are we still going on this one?
So I took it down a
It's the longest segment ever.
bit
Anyway,
of
go on.
pessimism,
Yeah.
different route. That we are getting excited, but I think it's important, not just us, but any Star
Everybody.
Wars fans, trying not to get too excited, because Mark Hamill says on the Force Awakens red carpet premiere, he said, if you're going into this thinking we're going to recapture your childhood, you're going to be disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's been done.
Yeah.
You were a child, that film happened,
Yeah.
you loved it.
Even adults back then loved it.
Yeah,
It's-
absolutely.
it's-
Well, Star Wars was huge.
oh, God, yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
brand new. You'd not seen it before.
Yes,
That's the difference.
Yeah.
absolutely.
You've got the weight. You've got the weight of childhood nostalgia. 40 years of
It was so.
tanning the films to death, knowing them backwards.
Yeah.
So you're always going to be. You're not just comparing the quality of those films to to the quality of the films that have gone before.
Yeah.
They're always going to be compared, but it carries the weight of your childhood and
Yeah.
all of the other things that come with it.
I think it's why it's important for them to, and I'm guessing that they're doing this, is get away from that timeline. If Star Wars is to continue, it needs to
Yeah, they absolutely need to.
move away.
And
So the Old Republic is the way to do it.
And I can't understand why they didn't do it. The standalones could have been just something completely different. They didn't need, they just kind of played it safe, really.
I mean, I like the idea of the standalones being focused on a character we know and something that I'd love an Obi-Wan Kenobi standalone.
See, everyone says that, but what would happen?
I don't know.
What could he have possibly done between
a lot could have happened.
the end of Sith and the beginning of New Hope?
Have you read the book called Kenobi? It's Legends now.
No.
But it talks about his life on Tatooine.
All right.
Between,
making soup,
No, there's a lot going on.
watching Luke from afar. Yeah.
It's all based on Tatooine. It's a great story. One of the best Star Wars ones I've read, actually.
Right.
And I'm a bit of a fan of Kenobi as a character anyway.
Sure.
And that just adds to it.
Is that the Alec Guinness Obi-Wan and McGregor's? Both of them you're a fan of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the character.
You don't think he's the villain of the saga?
Oh, no.
We get into the cookie theory.
From a certain point of view.
Yeah. I do think that was pretty funny.
enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
No.
I enjoy it, though.
Yeah.
Well, somebody put a photograph online the other day about characters who are actually really bad. And you think they're not, but they are.
What, evil bad or
Evil
bad acting?
Like acting.
He's quite nasty, and he is quite nasty.
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks is evil.
Yeah.
Go
on.
He pretends to be thick.
Just pretends to be thick. He's actually a Sith. He's
The Sith. Jar Jar's a Sith Lord theory.
But the.
Is this thing with the necklace?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's part of that gang, the Underground, isn't he?
Darth
Maul's half.
Yeah.
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 He's wearing that one.
Darth Moon's wearing it. Daenerys Targaryen's wearing it. In
Crimson Dawn.
Crimson Dawn. Yeah.
Solo. Yeah.
In Shiloh, Star Wars, sorry, and then.
The greatest Star Wars film ever made.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks is wearing it.
And then Jar Jar Binks is wearing it when he's in his political mode.
In the Senate.
In Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. Okay. So he's not wearing it in Phantom Menace.
No,
Wow.
don't think so.
Okay.
It'd
it'd make the prequels better, wouldn't it? Imagine watching them.
Anyway, I forget what this segment started off as.
That would make him very evil. Well, I always remind people.
Should this not be moving off into another segment?
Yeah, it probably should be.
I've always in Attack of the Clones, he's the one who gets Supreme Chancellor emergency powers.
Yeah.
If anyone is critical to him becoming the Emperor,
Yeah.
it's Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. No.
So
That is a no.
you sound really convinced there. You'll flash
We
that
all
up
know
on the
it's a
screen
no,
as well.
really.
I will flash
all
that
know
up on the
it's a no.
screen.
You
And
can all
I'll
make
put,
your own minds up.
that is a no.
So
It's good fun though, isn't it?
anything else for this particular segment? I don't think.
Are we on Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Yeah.
I think you're done as well.
Yeah.
They're asleep by now. Yeah, so let us know what you think. What do you want to see in Rise of Skywalker? Is it possible that everybody's going to be satisfied, or that you personally are going to be satisfied by everything? Let us know.